2, 3. Hi, this is Cynthia getting ready to call the diving. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
2013 Big Ten 1 meter and 3 meter champion, and last night's 1 meter silver medalist, Maggie KEEFER. Diving 7th, a senior at Eastern Michigan University, the 2013 Mid-American Conference 1 and 3 meter silver medalist, HENDRICKS. And diving 8th, a senior at Purdue University, a 3-time NCAA All-American, Matthews.
Award ceremony, 100-yard backstroke. Presenting awards in this event, University of Indianapolis swimmer and Team USA Paralympian that competed in 5 events at the 2012 London Paralympic Games, Dalton Herendeen. Finishing an 8th for Texas A&M in 52.60, Tess Simpson. 7th for Missouri, 52.23, Dominique Bouchard. 6th for Texas A&M, 51.93, Paige Miller. 5th for California, 51.92, Cindy Tran. 4th for Stanford at 51.58, Felicia Lee. 3rd for Indiana, 51.52, Brooklyn Snodgrass. Finishing 2nd for Florida, 51.46, Sinead Russell. And your NCAA champion, representing California, 2nd fastest time in history, 50.13, Rachel Bootsma. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating your top 8 and your NCAA champ, Rachel Bootsma of Cal. Great job.
Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, I would just like to make a friendly reminder that flash photography is not permitted during the diving contest. Please turn off your flash from your cameras. Thank you very much. Judges, take your places. Looks like we are about ready to begin.
We turn our attention to diving the 3-meter championship here. First of 6 rounds. Trey Bender, Cynthia Potter. Leading things off from Purdue, Michelle Cabazal, redshirt freshman from Bedford, Texas.
Michelle's first round dive, a forward 2.5 somersault. We see a number of divers doing this in the first round. It sort of gets them into the competition, and it's a dive that's not difficult. It's a low degree of difficulty, but it's a dive that you can depend on.
8.5s and 8s, a total of 56.40. Here's Lindsay Lester from Miami.
I'm talking about the forward 2.5 somersault pike. This is another one. And these women have such poise. I've been very impressed with the springboard diving at this NCAA championship. They're smooth, they have great body lines, and it takes really good rhythm, timing and rhythm to be a good springboard diver. And Lindsay certainly has that.
6.5s and 7s, a total of over 49. As you look at Tori Lamp, two-time SEC Diver of the Year from Tennessee.
Tori Lamp is amazing because she was 6th on the 1 meter already, so she's been in the final on both springboard events, and she's gaining all those points for the University of Tennessee, contributing to their total. And the worst that Tennessee can do in this final is 23 points, because there are 2 Tennessee divers in the final, and this is the second one.
Jody McGroarty, fifth-year senior, 3rd on the 1 meter.
Starting out with a different dive. An inward 2.5 somersault. Carries a higher degree of difficulty than that forward 2.5 by 0.3. The degree of difficulty is multiplied times the middle 3 judges' scores. Too high and too low are eliminated. Very nice smooth entry. The whole point is to go up high and keep good form and go in the water vertically without a lot of splash.
7.5 and 8s there. Here's Haley CASPER Jr. from Arizona State, a Canadian.
On the kick out, coming unfolding out of the tuck position on that inward 2.5. And she's actually spinning forwards, but she's standing backwards, and so she has to clear the board by pushing back just slightly. But what a beautiful dive. That should put her right into first place at this point in the contest.
Judges loved it, 67.50. Maggie KEEFER from Minnesota.
I think she has such gracefulness to her diving, a good kinesthetic sense, knowing where up and down is. You have to know where vertical is in diving. And Maggie KEEFER is an expert at that. I haven't seen a lot of her diving, but I am very impressed. This is a terrific diver.
61.20 on that score. Kelly Hendricks now from Eastern Michigan.
And one of the keys to springboard diving is also to land on the end of the springboard on your toes, absorb that shock and push off of your toes. And Kelly Hendricks from Eastern Michigan is very good at that. Doesn't make a lot of noise when she lands on the end of the springboard.
54 points even on that dive for Hendricks. Final dive of the first round. Casey Matthews, a senior from Purdue.
Just demonstrating gorgeous flexibility, folds herself in half basically, has a toe point as good as anyone in the world. And again, a little bit lower degree of difficulty at 2.4 than some of the other dives that we will see and have seen. But what a beautiful dive in the first round. Lots of gorgeous dives.
We move to the second round now. Purdue teammate Michelle Cabasol, redshirt freshman.
Well, we had a tie for second place after the last round, and Michelle Cabasol was right in the hunt, and she increases her degree of difficulty in the second round. So that will help her in the standings.
Over 55 points on that dive. Lindsay Lester, now junior from Miami, second Hurricane to qualify for the NCAAs.
Oh, she has such a nice kick out of a reverse 2.5. She doesn't quite get all the way to vertical. You would call that just slightly deficient. You know, the divers are all looking for 8s and above, because most of the time when you receive those 8s, then you probably can vault up a little bit in the standings. But that one didn't quite make it to vertical.
6.5s on that dive. Tori Lamp, she was a runner-up last year in this event.
Tori Lamp doing a back 2.5 somersault tuck. All divers will do a back 2.5. They must do a backward spinning optional, and they all choose the back 2.5, and this is 2.8. Some of them will do it in the pike position. This is tuck position. Carries a little lower degree of difficulty in tuck than in pike. Pike is with the legs straight.
7s and a 7.5. Now Jodie McGroarty. She hails from Sheffield, England.
There again, we see the flexibility, and so important for divers to be able to bend their bodies in certain directions, and of course not excessively so in terms of arching, but certainly in a pike position when you can lay your chest right on your legs. That's beautiful.
55.20, 7.5s and 8s for McGroarty, the senior from Tennessee. HAILEY CASPER from Arizona State, from Alberta.
That is just, it's poetry to watch when you see dives like that go up in the air so high with so much control and go in the water beautifully with the toe point, the legs stretched. There's not a whole lot wrong with that dive. I think 9s are appropriate, if not higher.
3 9s from the judges, 62.40. Maggie KEEFER, second on the 1 meter here in Indianapolis.
And that is a forward 3.5 somersault tuck at 2.8 degree of difficulty, and many of the women are doing 3.5s these days. You certainly see that in the Olympic Games. And this is good. It would be wonderful if she put her knees together in that tuck, but I'm sort of a traditionalist in that sense.
Over 60 points. Kelly Hendricks now, Eastern Michigan.
Reverse 2.5 somersault. All divers will do a reverse spinning optional, and as it is, all of them are choosing the reverse 2.5. This is in the tuck position at 2.8 degree of difficulty. Nice steady dive there.
57.40 the total. Now Casey Matthews, senior from Purdue. She's from Gettsville, New York.
It's a forward 1.5 with 2 twists. And her feet weren't quite on the end of the springboard. I think this would have gone 8s and above all the way across the board. Just didn't quite get on the tip of the springboard where it is most flexible.
7.5s at 56.25. Now Michelle Cavazal, 2-time 4A Texas State champion, diving for Purdue.
And there's a good 3.5 somersault. We've seen some 2.5s, and we're seeing 3.5s. The women must do 6 dives, which means they cover all 5 groups of dives, and they double up on one group. So there's a forward group, a back group, a reverse group, an inward group, and a twisting group. but they must do 6, so they double up in one area, and many of them double up in the forward or front area.
63 points total there. Third round dive for Lindsay Lester for Miami.
And there's that twisting group. This is a reverse twister. So you land hopefully on the end of the board, but I don't think her feet quite made it to the end. And you're going to see that right here. Watch where her feet land. Oh, man, almost probably at least 6 inches back from the end of the springboard. And like I said, the springboard is most flexible on the tip where it's tapered.
5.5s and 6s. Here's Tori Lamp.
Oh, Tori Lamp actually misses a reverse 2.5. You know, I think she's got such good kinesthetic sense, knowing where vertical is, and she arches as she unfolds out of this dive. This is pretty much uncharacteristic for Tori. It looks like there's a lot of adrenaline working with Tori and her. We know how great her Tennessee swim teammates have been doing, and so that's an unusual miss for Tori.
37.80. Here's her teammate, Jody McGroarty.
Pretty good dive, a forward 2.5 with 1 twist, and that's a high degree of difficulty at 3.0. And we see Jody take off her feet pretty much on the end of the springboard. Now, I think she could have gone up a little bit higher if she was a little more patient on the end, but a good dive there.
HAILEY CASPER from Arizona State. As a freshman, she was in the NCAAs, finishing 5th on the 1 meter, on the 3 meter here.
Nice 3.5 somersault. And she was in first place after round 2. And this should keep her in the lead. Of course, we still have a couple divers to dive in round 3, but what a beautiful forward 3.5 somersault. Best one done thus far in the competition. And of course, we're in round 3 out of 6, so there's still lots of diving.
4 8s on that dive. Maggie KEEFER from Minnesota, 2-time Big Ten Diver of the Year.
Oh, Maggie KEEFER kicks out very early out of this back 2.5. And, you know, a lot of what happens on the end of a dive begins on the takeoff, where the arms might not be going up over the head soon enough to create the somersault or the angular momentum.
32.20 there. Here's Kelly Hendricks. She's from Schaumburg, Illinois, diving for Eastern Michigan. Senior.
Inward 2.5 somersault. One thing that happens a lot, but that you don't necessarily want to do, is push too far away from the springboard. It sort of impedes your ability to go high, to go up. You trade, so to speak, distance for height.
Casey Matthews, her final dive here in the 3rd round for Purdue.
Oh, a beautiful back 2.5 somersault. I love that dive. It is really graceful. It's beautiful. It's not an easy dive to make look pretty, but it is gorgeous.
9.5s and 9, 75.60 for Matthews. Moved to round 4 now. Michelle Cabasol, the redshirt freshman from Purdue, in 3rd place currently. Sixes, 5.5s, 52.50 the total on that dive. Lindsay Lester, Miami Hurricane, junior.
And that's a back 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.8 degree of difficulty.
.80 with a couple sevens there for Lester. Round 4 continues with Tori Lamp, the junior from Tennessee, from Knoxville.
Tori's 4th round dive is that inward spinning dive, the inward 2.5. And it could be higher. I think she could keep her head up a little bit longer and throw her arms and let herself go up in the air as she starts to spin.
6.5, so 7 for a high, 52.65 for Tori Lamp. Now Jody McGroarty, the senior, 5th-year senior for Tennessee, her 4th round dive. She was 10th last year in this event.
A reverse 1.5, 2.5 twist. Okay, pretty good entry. Had a little splash going in the water, but the dive is pretty smooth. The feet come apart just slightly.
58 even for McGroarty. HAILEY CASPER, junior from Arizona State.
This is one of the most difficult dives being done. Forward 2.5 with 1 twist. She just doesn't quite make the somersault. The twist looks good, but she's not high enough to complete the somersault and the twist and go in vertically without a splash. You have to have time to grab your hands and line up on the end of that. And so
5.5s across the board there, Cynthia.
not quite it.
49.50. Now Minnesota's Maggie KEEFER, her 3rd straight NCAA.
She is a real jumping artist. I mean, she knows how to ride the springboard so well, be patient on the end of it, and go up in the air. I mean, she just has it all. I am so impressed. And she's only a junior, so look for better things even next year.
71.40 the total. Now Kelly Hendricks in the 4th round, senior for Eastern Michigan University.
Very simple back 1.5 somersault with 1.5 twist at 2.4 degree of difficulty.
8, 8, 8, 8 and 1/2, 8 and 1/2, 7 1/2, 8. Casey, 305C, 2-8.
We update the team standings here in Indianapolis at the NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. Georgia, thanks to that 100 back, getting 34 points now, is a 3-point lead over California. 3-meter diving through 4 rounds. The leader is Casey Matthews, the senior from Purdue. It is a 6-round competition. And Matthews from Gettsville, New York, in front of HAILEY CASPER of Arizona State. Tennessee with 2 divers, McGroarty in 3rd place, and Tori Lamp is in 8th place now for the Volunteers. 5th round. And Purdue's Michelle Cabasol, a redshirt freshman, to dive first.
Michelle Cabasol in 4th place going into the second to last round dive. A back 2.5 somersault. You know, one of the things that Michelle does so well is keep her head still on the takeoff. She keeps her chin still, doesn't look up too soon, and by virtue of keeping her head still like that, looking basically at the other end of the springboard, she seems to have a good sense of where she is in the air easier than if she moved her head.
6 8s and a 67.20 total. Fifth round, Tori Lamp, the junior from Tennessee, 2-time SEC Diver of the Year here for the Vols.
Okay, so remember, with 2 divers from Tennessee in the top 8, the worst Tennessee could come out after this competition would be with 23 points. And they're doing a lot better than that right now, even though Tori Lamp, who we're looking at, is in 8th place with 2 dives to go. And it's a nice back 1.5 with 2.5 twists. She just doesn't seem to be on her entries the way I have seen her so much in the last year. She usually, if she's anywhere near vertical, goes in without a splash, but she's a little bit arched past vertical on that dive.
7s, 7.5, 57.40 for the junior Tori Lamp. Now the 5th round dive for her Tennessee teammate, Jody McGroarty, 5th-year senior. She was 3rd on the 1 meter.
And she's in 3rd place right now with her back 2.5 somersault, tuck position 2.8. They cancel out the too high and the too low judges' scores. And you multiply the middle 3 times the degree of difficulty. This dive slides past vertical just slightly on the entry. Doesn't quite get all the way straightened out with a straight body. There's a little bit of arch right there going in the water.
And her scores a 49 total on that dive for the 5th-year senior. HAILEY CASPER from Arizona State, a junior from Alberta, Canada.
And she has a great opportunity here to increase her lead over 3rd place Jody McGroarty from Tennessee, because she has a high degree of difficulty dive at 3.0. She was more than 10 points ahead going into this second to last round. That is of 3rd place. She wasn't winning, she was in 2nd. Nice. What a good back 2.5 somersault pike. That will definitely validate her being in the top 2 going into the last round. What a nice back 2.5 with straight legs, beautiful lines, toe point. That will increase her lead over 3rd place.
The judges like it. Look at the 8.5s and 9 as well. 76.50 for Casper. Maggie KEEFER, junior from Minnesota, two-time Big Ten Diver of the Year here in the 5th round.
Like I said in previous rounds, I was talking about her, that she has such a good feel for the springboard. Jumps high, waits on the springboard so patiently, and is just a very pretty aesthetic diver. I really like her diving.
Seven and a half range on that one for KEEFER, over 53 points.
Kelly, 52-35 deep, 2-8.
Casey Matthews, her final dive of the 5th round, the senior from Purdue. All-American in the 09-10 season. Here she is, a chance to get a title here.
She's had a number of shoulder surgeries and has come back beautifully. This is the key to her contest right here, this forward 3.5 somersault. She needs 7s to stay in first place. And I think she's going to receive right at 7, 6.5, 7 maybe. The dive on the entry was what we would call a little bit heavy, a little splashy. She goes up in the air beautifully, but just might not receive above a 7 because of that entry. Her form just a little bit off there, so it's going to be a close contest going into the final round.
She does not get above that 7 number, 53.20 in her final dive, the 5th round. Back with the final round, the 6th round coming up from Indianapolis.
Beginning our 6th and final round.
The 6th and final round here, 3-meter final. Trey Bender, Cynthia Potter, as you look at Michelle Cavasol, the redshirt freshman from Purdue, with her final dive.
Michelle Cavasol in 3rd place going into this final round. And she's very early on in the round, but she's been doing a very consistent job. Hasn't really missed any dives and hit a very good dive in round 5. This is a pretty takeoff, a reverse 2.5 somersault. She has really good visual spotting references, and she uses them well. Misses that entry just a little bit. You saw the splash come up. And everybody watches their dives on the TiVo or the DVR right after they do them.
56 points total.
Please don't let him go yet. I want to know what place Jody's in after the last round.
Here's Tori Lamp, one of 2 Tennessee divers here. Her final dive in the 6th round, important for the team race with 2 volunteers. Here's the junior, 2-time SEC Diver of the Year.
Tori Lamp and her teammate, Jody McGroarty, will score at least 23 points. They're going to receive more than that because Jody McGroarty is in 4th place, even though Tori was in 8th. Going into this last round, that's a good reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twists. See if she can get out of that 8th place and score a couple more points for Tennessee. We know how critical each point is. This is quite a good dive, a better entry than we've seen on a couple of her other dives. Very nice twisting position, the legs and the feet together. Good last dive for Tori Lamp from Tennessee.
Just shy of 61 points as you see the totals.
She will be at least 7th, so she did climb up at least 1 spot.
And here's Jody McGroarty, her final dive. 3rd on the 1 meter.
Oh, what a beautiful takeoff. She slightly misses the entry, just slightly, but she should get rewarded for the high jump, riding the springboard so beautifully. She's a senior at Tennessee, and look at that beautiful hurdle, the fabulous tuck. Just a little bit of flaw on the entry going into the water, but that should keep her definitely in the top 4.
Pride of Sheffield, England with a 63 total on her final dive in the 6th round. HAILEY CASPER from Arizona State, the junior.
And she has a little mistake as she kicks out of this reverse 2.5. But she had about 4 points over Casey Matthews from Purdue, and Casey will come up soon in the competition. So it's going to come down to Casey Matthews' last dive to see if this woman, HAILEY CASPER from ASU, will win the NCAAs or not.
Is that total good enough? 54.60 for Casper, the Canadian. Here's Maggie KEEFER, 3rd straight NCAA for the junior from Minnesota.
An inward 2.5 somersault, tuck position. And once again, it's so important to have your balance and your timing be coordinated on the springboard. And she just leaves that springboard a little bit prematurely with her hips going back just slightly, even though she's way above the springboard in every dive she does. And she is a beautiful diver.
Final dive, round 6, 3-meter competition. Casey Matthews in the hunt, the senior from Purdue.
That's right. It all comes down to this final dive. She was the top qualifier. That meant that she had more points out of the preliminaries than any other diver. And in order for her to win this contest, her last dive, she needs 7.5. And there's the leader from Arizona State right now, HAILEY CASPER, watching Casey Matthews, the senior from Purdue. She needs 7.5. there's your champion. She will receive more than 7.5. This dive, an inward 2.5, is beautifully performed, especially the entry, the form on the kick out. Casey Matthews will win as a senior her first NCAA title, and it came down to that dive.
A big moment for Purdue, West Lafayette, Indiana, as she gets 8s, 3 9s, 67.50 for Casey Matthews, the champion in the 3-meter. Adam Soldati celebrating with her. Her head coach.
Spectators, special announcement for you spectators. First off, I'd like the Georgia fans to just stand up for just a moment. Georgia fans, you stand up there. Now, we're going to give you credit for this and just recognize you as an example. For those of you that don't know what the Harlem Shake is, go online and look on the Harlem Shake for Georgia swimming, because tomorrow night we will have our first and once and only Harlem Shake-Off with the fans. So here's the challenge. Tomorrow night before finals, thank you, Georgia. Tomorrow night before finals, one side versus the other side on the Harlem Shake-Off, and positive creativity will definitely be taken into account. That's why we're telling you tonight. So, the challenge is laid down. I know the lane 8 side feels like they won the t-shirt toss, so they're going to be especially motivated, and I'm sure my friends from Stanford that I've come to know over the last couple of days are going to be a prime example of how to do the Harlem Shake. And for those of you that don't know how to do it, go online, do University of Georgia Swimming, Harlem Shake, and you'll know what to do, but we won't let you get in the pool. All right, good luck.
So the results in the 3-meter diving, Casey Matthews beating out HAILEY CASPER with their 6th-round dive. Kelly Hendricks of Eastern Michigan in 3rd place. Here's Rowdy with the winner from Purdue.
Casey, as Cynthia just said, it all came down to that last dive. Tell me a little bit about it and what was going through your mind.
Well, I wasn't paying attention throughout the whole competition, so I wasn't looking at scores. I was just thinking to execute my cues, think about what I do in practice, and do it in the meet.
You know, you've had a lot of setbacks in your career, especially from the injury standpoint. Tell me a little bit about the perseverance that you've had to go through.
Yeah, I've had to go through quite a bit in the last couple of years, but I fought my way back, and it feels great to just be here representing Purdue again and be able to compete, because this is what I love to do. So
it's a great way to go out as a senior. Congratulations.
Thank you.
gentlemen, please welcome the 3-meter finalists. Presenting the awards tonight from Purdue University, the head coach Adam Soldati. In 8th place, from the University of Miami, Lindsay Lester. In 7th place, with a score of 321.55 from the University of Tennessee, Tori Lamb. In 6th place, with a final score of 331.4 from the University of Minnesota, Maggie KEEFER. In 5th place, final score 344.45 from the University of Tennessee, Jody McGroarty. In 4th place, the final score 350.45 from Purdue University, Michelle Cavasol. And in 3rd place, with a final score at 356.05 from Eastern Michigan University, Kelly Hendricks. In 2nd place, the final score at 377.70 from Arizona State University, HAILEY CASPER. And your 3-meter 2013 NCAA Women's Champion with the final score of 386.55 from Purdue University, Casey Matthews.